when talent forces a decision. In most NFL organizations, rookie quarterbacks drafted in the later rounds are expected to blend into the background, learn quietly, and maybe see game action in a few years. They're usually not taken seriously as immediate threats. They're seen as developmental flyers, future backup insurance, or practice squad material. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. But Sanders is making that entire mindset obsolete. His accelerated development isn't just throwing a wrench into the quarterback depth chart. It's shattering it. Internally, the coaches are now having the conversation every staff dreads having way too early. Are we really going to have to start the rookie? Not because they want to, not because it was the plan, but because he's earned it. And that's the uncomfortable truth veteran quarterbacks now have to reckon with. Quarterbacks who were once assumed to be safely ahead on the chart now find themselves looking over their shoulder at a fifth-round pick taking reps and taking control like a 10-year vet. It's not just about stats or flashes anymore. It's about command. Command of the offense. Command of the huddle. Command of the moment. That kind of leadership makes excuses obsolete. Quarterback rooms aren't built for disruption. Let's be honest. NFL quarterback rooms are delicate ecosystems. The hierarchy matters. Repetition matters. Trust matters. Coaches design entire camp schedules around managing reps, building confidence, and insulating their starters from doubt. So when a rookie like Sanders starts demanding more reps with his play and his presence, it throws everything into chaos. Veterans who were penciled in as 1A and 1B suddenly find themselves running third in efficiency charts. Offensive coordinators who plan to install packages around known commodities are now rewriting scripts to account for a rookie who simply runs the offense better. And teammates? They start noticing. They start gravitating. They start wondering if the future might already be standing right in front of them. And once the thought enters the building, there's no going back. Because nothing divides a team faster than a quarterback controversy, especially one that was never supposed to happen. Practice pressure is different when it feels like game day. One of the most striking things about Sanders' rise is how he performs when it matters. Not in walk-throughs, not in cleanup duty, but when the lights, however artificial, are brightest, during full-speed, full-defense live-rep practices. That's when Sanders has looked the most composed. Every coach loves a player who practices like it's Sunday, but quarterbacks? That's rare. When the starting defense is throwing exotic pressures, disguised coverages and constant motion at you, and you still stay calm, get the ball out on time, and hit your receivers in stride. That's not just promising. That's threatening to everyone ahead of you. Because if the practice environment is supposed to simulate the game and the rookie is clearly outperforming the vets, then how do you not give him more opportunity? You can't. Not without looking like you're prioritizing politics over performance. And in the NFL, that's the quickest way to lose a locker room. Coaching staffs don't get the luxury of ignoring evidence. Coaches love plans, timelines, development schedules, redshirt ideas, packages. But the game doesn't care. Sanders is changing the timeline, not with noise or attitude, but with execution. He's showing coaches he can identify the Mike linebacker, he can shift protections, he can reset his feet under pressure and throw with timing, not panic. He's making reads across the field and delivering NFL-caliber throws without bailing out of clean pockets. And most importantly, he's stacking days. This isn't a one-day wonder. This is a trend. And coaches live and die by trends. The worst thing a staff can do is ignore what's in front of them and cling to a plan that no longer fits the reality on the field. And if they delay the inevitable too long, the fans, the media, and even the front office will start asking the same question: why isn't Sanders starting? The media frenzy and fan fever are brewing. Every time Sanders drops a dime in practice, it's filmed, clipped, tweeted, viewed 500,000 times by the afternoon. The fans know. The media knows. The team definitely knows. And here's the part no one wants to say out loud. If the veteran quarterbacks were lighting it up, none of this would matter. The hype around Sanders would be a feel-good story, a nice development, something for next year. But the vets aren't lighting it up. They're surviving. They're managing. They're checking down and avoiding disasters. And next to that, Sanders looks like an entirely different energy, a different ceiling, a different future. You can't unsee that. So the narrative writes itself. QB battle? Is Sanders already the best quarterback on the roster? Should the rookie start week 1? The questions aren't going away. They're multiplying. And the coaching staff can either ride the wave or get swept under it. What happens if they actually start him? It's one thing to practice well. It's another thing entirely to lead a team on Sundays. But everything Sanders has shown suggests he's close, very close. If they start him, it means rewriting expectations for the season. It means putting a rookie under the microscope and letting him define the culture instead of just learning it. It means taking risks and reaping the reward if it works. And if it does work, it changes everything. Suddenly, the team has a franchise quarterback on a rookie contract, flexibility in roster building, a new leader at the center of the offense, and most importantly, a new identity. Every team wants that. Few teams find it. Even fewer are brave enough to recognize it when it's already in their building. The bigger picture, a league-wide wake-up call. Across the NFL, quarterback development has followed a relatively conservative formula for years. Sit, learn, develop, wait. But Sanders, he's breaking the formula. He's proof that some players don't need 3 years to figure it out. Some players come in ready, mentally, emotionally, and technically. Some players don't need a clipboard. They need reps. And if Sanders continues on this trajectory, it may force teams across the league to rethink how they develop quarterbacks, especially those coming from competitive, pro-style college systems with elite football IQs. The risk is still there, but so is the reward. And in today's NFL, the teams that win big are the ones who recognize when a player isn't just ahead of schedule, but redefining the schedule entirely. Conclusion: Sanders isn't waiting, he's taking it. This isn't just a feel-good underdog story. This is a shift. Sanders isn't waiting for someone to tell him it's his time. He's showing them. Every day, every rep, every decision. He's demanding a response through leadership, execution, and undeniable presence. The coaches see it. The players feel it. The fans want it. And the league? It better start paying attention. Because if Sanders gets a shot and delivers, this won't just be a win for one team. It'll be a blueprint for how you recognize, develop, and unleash quarterbacks who come into the league ready to lead from day one. And for everyone else stuck waiting on their Project QB to figure it out, well, the clock's already ticking. The locker room litmus test. Football players aren't fooled by hype. They know what good looks like. They can spot the difference between someone who's flashing potential and someone who's ready. And what Sanders is doing right now, it's cutting through the noise. He's not just throwing tight spirals in warm-ups. He's adjusting protections mid-snap, correcting receivers on route depth, and staying cool while the starting defense brings exotic pressure looks. Teammates see that. Offensive linemen start trusting it. Receivers run their routes sharper. Even defenders, who are trained to rattle quarterbacks, begin respecting the poise of the guy across from them. This is the invisible metric that coaches care about. Command. When a quarterback steps into the huddle, how do 11 grown men react? Do they believe in the play? Do they believe in him? Veterans earn that with time. Sanders is earning it with reps. And that kind of presence, it's contagious. Once it sets in, the locker room starts to shift its energy. It starts leaning toward the guy who feels inevitable. And right now, that's Sanders. The reps dilemma. Every throw is political. In any NFL camp, there's a finite number of reps. Every throw, every 7-on-7 drill, every live period, it all counts. So when a third-string rookie suddenly starts taking reps with the twos, then the ones, it's not random. It's deliberate. It means the coaching staff is testing something. But here's the problem. Every rep Sanders gets is a rep someone else doesn't. And in a league that thrives on competition but worships hierarchy, that creates tension. Veterans aren't blind. They know what it means when the rookie gets your red zone series. They feel it when the coaching staff sends him out for the 2-minute drill you were supposed to lead. It's not personal, but it feels personal. And that's when the room starts to shift from competitive to combustible. Do coaches stay loyal to experience? Or do they lean into momentum? That's not just a personnel question. It's a culture question. And it's the kind of decision that can ripple into every part of the team, especially when players are watching to see what the staff values more, resume or results. Ownership eyes are always watching. Let's not pretend this all stays within the football department. Once a quarterback starts gaining buzz, especially from the media, owners take notice. They may not know every coverage scheme or route combination, but they do understand momentum, optics, marketability. And Sanders has all three. He's young, dynamic, well-spoken, and part of football lineage that the league can't help but talk about. Having the last name Sanders doesn't guarantee success, but it guarantees attention. And in a league built on storylines, that kind of buzz matters. An owner watching practice clips or hearing fans chant Sanders' name isn't just thinking about QB1. They're thinking about ticket sales, jersey sales, branding. If the coaches hesitate, the higher-ups may start asking why. And once front office voices get involved in quarterback decisions, things get very messy very fast. Media pressure, the modern QB gauntlet. Here's the new reality for NFL quarterbacks. Your practice film is public. Social media has turned camp into content. A single throw can go viral. A single blown read can become a meme. And fan bases are more dialed in than ever, tracking every detail from beat reporters and sideline camera phones. For veterans, this scrutiny is familiar, if still exhausting. For rookies, it's a trial by fire. But for Sanders, it's an opportunity. Because he's not just surviving the media gauntlet, he's thriving in it. Every clip of him hitting a tight window, every breakdown from an analyst saying, "This kid looks legit," every fan comment saying, "He's better than our starter." It adds up. And while coaches might say they're ignoring the noise, the truth is they can't. Because when the fans start calling for a player and the player is backing up with results, the pressure becomes unavoidable. This isn't hype. It's validation. And it makes the decision to elevate Sanders feel not just smart, but necessary. The veteran perspective when the locker room tilts. Let's talk about what this looks like from the eyes of the guy who was supposed to be QB2 or even QB1. Imagine being told in camp that the reps are being rotated just to see what the rookie can do. Then imagine watching that rookie ace the rotation. You see the coach's eyes light up. You see your receivers start dapping him up a little more. You see the offensive line talking to him between plays. You're still getting your reps, but now they feel different. Measured, evaluated. And every time you miss a throw, you can feel it. That's what makes the quarterback room such a pressure cooker. It's not just physical ability, it's trust. And once the balance tips towards someone else, it's hard to get it back. The vets might not show it publicly. They'll say the right things, be supportive, smile during interviews. But inside, they know the moment has changed. And that's not something you recover from easily. The fan base has found its favorite. For years, fans have rallied behind the next guy, the untested prospect, the promising young gun who might be the answer. Usually it's blind hope, a wish, a fantasy. This time it's real. Fans watching Sanders aren't projecting. They're responding to footwork, to accuracy, to tempo, to leadership. They're not imagining greatness. They're witnessing the real thing starting to crack through the surface. And that emotional investment, it's powerful. Because once fans believe in a quarterback, they attach to him. They show up wearing his jersey before he's even named starter. They chant his name in the preseason. They flood comment sections when he gets snubbed in interviews. The organization can't ignore that kind of energy. They can't pretend the fans don't matter. Because those same fans fill the stadium, boost morale, and turn rookies into legends. If Sanders wins them over before the season even begins, that's momentum you can't bottle back up. Development versus denial. There's a fine line between sticking to a developmental plan and outright denying what's in front of you. Coaches will always be cautious about throwing a rookie into the fire too early. They'll cite protecting his confidence or avoiding burnout, or respecting the process. But sometimes the player is a process. Sanders isn't skipping steps. He's stepping up. He's doing everything the staff asked of him faster than expected, smarter than expected, better than expected. So at a certain point, holding him back isn't strategy. It's fear. And fear-based decisions don't win in this league. Great teams recognize when a player is ahead of schedule, and they adjust the plan to meet the moment. Because if you wait too long, you risk sending a message to your locker room that performance doesn't matter. And in football, that's the one message you can't afford to send. Redefining what ready looks like, the idea that quarterbacks need years to develop is rooted in tradition, but the league is changing. With college systems more advanced than ever, an elite prospect preparing year-round with pro-level coaching, we're seeing a new breed of quarterback emerge. Mentally sharp, emotionally mature, technically sound. Sanders fits that mold. He's not the outlier. He's the prototype of what's next. A quarterback who doesn't need to sit, who can walk into a playbook and command it, who can win respect not just with hype, but with execution, who thrives under pressure and embraces responsibility. If teams continue applying old models to these new quarterbacks, they're going to miss the window, because the guys who are ready now won't wait 3 years for their shot. And the fans, they won't either. Conclusion, the decision is coming. At this point, it's not a question of if the coaching staff has to make a call. It's when. Sanders isn't forcing their hand with politics or PR. He's doing it with football. Every day he shows up and outperforms expectations. The staff's job gets harder. Every day he wins another rep, another receiver, another room. He pushes closer to the top. The veteran QBs feel it. The media sees it. The fans demand it. And when enough people see the future standing on your practice field, the only question left is, are you bold enough to play it now? Because if you are, Sanders might not just win the starting job. He might win over the entire organization and take it someplace it hasn't been in years. Not next season. Not eventually. Now.